Very good evening and welcome to Granada Reports.
Hello, thanks very much for joining us. Coming up on the programme tonight.
Charlene was just 14 when she disappeared and was almost definitely murdered in Blackpool. 20 years on, her parents' only hope is for that shred of information that could bring her killers to justice.
Just need someone to come forward who knows the answers, really. You know, somebody out there knows something, we know they do, but I just need somebody to be brave enough to come forward.
Taking control, Susie decides to have her head shaved rather than losing her hair to chemotherapy. Another milestone on a tough journey. She joins us live in studio tonight.
Everton prepare for a Goodison Park goodbye to their former chairman Bill Kenwright. We're live ahead of their League Cup game with Burnley.
Meet Ned the Wonder Dog in Chester, spreading smiles and TLC to people when they need it most.
And a plethora of warnings associated with Storm Kieran that is approaching the northwest as we head into the early hours of tomorrow. I'll have all the detail for our Past the World a little later on.
So please do stay with us. But first tonight, she was just a schoolgirl. But despite being only 14 years old, Charlene Downes was groomed for sex by older men in Blackpool, where she lived.
It is exactly 20 years ago today Charlene disappeared. It led to the biggest investigation ever carried out by Lancashire Police. Detectives feared that she'd been abducted and murdered.
Well, her parents are renewing calls for information, any information that will lead them to Charlene's body and also to those who killed her.
Our reporter Emma Sweeney has Charlene's story.
Hello? Hi, it's Blackpool Police here. We've just received a 999 call on your phone. Is there a problem? Well, what it is, my daughter's been missing since Saturday night. We thought she'd been back by now, but she hasn't returned.
What we do know is that there is no evidence whatsoever that Charlene is still alive.
But someone out there has got the answer.
She was just a child when she vanished without a trace. Just 14. Police believe she was murdered. But 2 decades on from the disappearance of Charlene Downes, no body has ever been found, and no one has been held to account.
As a family, it's been very, very traumatic. Ups and downs, arguments, crying.
We've argued a lot over why can't we get justice and things like that. If somebody out there knows something, we know they do, but I just need somebody to be brave enough to come forward.
CCTV footage from the day Charlene Downes disappeared showed her in Blackpool town centre with her sister. When the sister went home, Charlene met up with a friend. The girls went to a bar on North Pier before going to an alleyway that they had already visited earlier that night when Charlene met with an Asian man from a local takeaway. After returning there for a second time, the friend left and Charlene Downes was never seen again. 2 men later stood trial over the teenager's disappearance, one accused of murder, the other with helping to dispose of her body. But after a jury failed to reach a verdict, the case then collapsed over concerns about Lancashire Police's investigation.
It's 20 years on now since Charlene disappeared. There's been a flawed police investigation. The family still don't have answers. Has Lancashire Police failed the family? Have you failed Charlene?
Within 2 weeks of Charlene being reported missing, we set up a major incident room headed by an experienced SIO, Senior Investigating Officer. And since that time, this has remained a live investigation.
But still no answers?
Still no answers. And that is the purpose for this appeal. Because despite all of that work, we still don't know what happened to Charlene.
Charlene's case also highlighted what had previously been a hidden scandal in this town, and that is the operation of grooming gangs. Before she disappeared, it's thought she was one of around 60 girls here who were being sexually exploited in exchange for food and cigarettes. Now, all these years later, there are still girls like Charlene in this town, but the difference now is there is support in place to help them.
Now we go into schools, so Foul Coast Women's Aid go into secondary schools to educate young people around healthy and unhealthy relationships so that they know what's okay and not okay. And if we felt that there was other issues that needed support for that young person, we can refer on to another organisation.
The passage of time has done little to solve the mystery of this case. The only thing left for Charlene's parents to cling to is hope that after all these years, someone, somewhere, will finally reveal what happened.
Don't be scared. Come forward and develop anonymously to the incident room.
Hope is all we have left. I will always do that until I take my last breath, live in hope that one day the answers will come.
And Emma is with us now. 20 years on, there's still a reward being offered over Charlene's disappearance.
That's right, Gamal. £100,000, the largest Crime Stoppers reward in the history of Lancashire Police, remains there for anyone who comes forward with information that would lead to the conviction of Charlene's killer or killers. Now, despite over those 20 years, there's been 16,000 lines of inquiry, almost 7,000 statements taken, and yet despite this, the person responsible still remains at large. But it is hoped now that perhaps somebody that at the time they were young, like Charlene, and they may have vital information, but they didn't feel like they were able to come forward with it back then, but maybe now they are in a position that they feel they can speak out, and it's hoped that if they do and they have that vital information, then they do so.
And of course, very sad anniversary today, Emma. Charlene's friends and family held a vigil in Blackpool in her memory.
That's right. That vigil was held at St John's Church in Blackpool. To mark those 20 years, they released 20 doves. And during that vigil, Mary McCourt spoke. Now, she is the mother of Helen McCourt, who was murdered in 1988 and who Helen's law is now named after. Like Charlene, Helen's body has never been found, and today Mary talked about the shared pain that both of those families have gone through. Charlene today was remembered as the little girl who liked pink. Now, anyone with information is asked to contact Lancashire Police or also get in contact with Crime Stoppers.
Yeah, hard to believe that it's 20 years since Charlene disappeared. OK, Emma, thank you.
Well, next tonight, a drug dealer on trial over the shooting of a council worker has told a court he was at home in his rented flat at the time of the murder.
Yes, Ashley Dale, who was 28, was shot in her own home in the Old Swan area of Liverpool in August last year.
The prosecution at Liverpool Crown Court say her boyfriend was the intended target. Our correspondent Victoria Grimes is at court for us tonight. Victoria, what's the jury heard?
Well, Lucy, today the jury have been hearing from 26-year-old Niall Barry. Now, he is one of those men, the prosecution say, who had an alleged feud with Ashley's boyfriend, Lee Harrison. Now, Niall Barry said today that he and Lee Harrison had been friends until they fell out in late 2018, early 2019, in a dispute over drugs. Well, Ashley was shot dead at her home in Old Swan in the early hours of the 21st of August last year. She was taken to hospital, but medics were unable to save her. One of Niall Barry's co-accused, James Witham, has admitted her manslaughter, but he denies murder. Today, Niall Barry told the jury that on the night in question, he'd been at his rented flat where he'd been planning to watch the boxing. Other defendants were there too, including James Witham, but he'd asked him to leave, he said, because he was drunk and he was being loud. Some hours later, he said that James Witham returned and said he had something to tell him. He said that he had just shot Saz's house up. Now, Saz refers to Lee Harrison, Ashley Dale's boyfriend. That was his nickname. Niall Barry said he was angry and asked him why he'd done that, and he'd asked him why he had then come back to the flat afterwards. It wasn't, he said, until the next morning when he saw an article online about a woman being shot that he realised that Ashley Dale may have been killed. He said his heart sank when he saw it and that he was shocked, but he didn't want to get caught up in the situation. He wanted wanted to distance himself, so he made plans to leave the country. And he was arrested, though, just some days later at Formby Hall in Formby. Now, he also said that if he'd had any idea that anything like that was going to happen when he left that flat, then he would not have let James Witham leave. He also described Ashley Dale as a lovely girl. Now, Niall Barry, Sean Zeiss, Joseph Pearce, Ian Fitzgibbon and James Witham all deny murder. They deny conspiracy to murder Lee Harrison and conspiracy to possess a prohibited weapon. The trial is due to continue here on Friday. A sixth man, Callum Radford, denies assisting an offender. Back to you.
Vicky, thank you.
In other news today, and an inquest heard, Sir Bobby Charlton died after falling at a care home. The Manchester United and England player was 86 when he died in Macclesfield General Hospital 2 weeks ago. The Cheshire coroner concluded Sir Bobby's death was accidental.
An investigation is underway after a Greater Manchester police officer was seen pulling down posters of Israeli hostages captured by Hamas. In the video shared on social media, the officer appears to be removing the posters from a wall outside a construction site on Bury Old Road in Crumpsall. The force says its thoughts remain with the Jewish community and regrets any offence caused.
Well, next tonight, anyone going through chemotherapy knows that it can make you feel pretty wretched, and losing your hair is often the part that patients dread the most.
Well, as you might know, we've been following the story of Susie Orr, a successful businesswoman from Chorley, who invited us to share her journey after she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yeah, the cancer was detected by a routine mammogram, and the last time we spoke to her, Susie was starting her chemotherapy after having surgery. Well, she's been incredibly upbeat, but one of the few times she did get upset was at the thought of losing her hair.
Yeah, completely understandably. So she decided to take control in the only way she could, and she wanted to share this with us. So here she is a short time ago in one of our dressing rooms, having her head completely shaved, courtesy of hairdresser and wig maker Harry.
And we are delighted to say that Susie is here with us, and with her is Debbie Dowie, a close friend and founder of the charity Boot Out Breast Cancer.
Yeah, Susie looking very cool, it has to be said.
Am I rocking it?
You are absolutely rocking it.
What was it like?
Do you know what? I was worried beforehand, but it was fine. I didn't feel emotional when it was being done. I didn't know if I would, but Harry did a great job and I wasn't emotional, and I actually quite like what I saw in the mirror, so I'm happy with it. It feels empowering.
And liberating
and
as
liberating,
well,
absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so obviously a lot of people are watching this, a lot of people are watching your journey with great interest. It is fair to say that you have been pretty poorly after your first bout of chemo, but you're still keen to do this on camera. Why?
To make a difference, I hope. I started with the message to go and get your mammograms, go and get your regular mammograms, because it's so important and people are still not having mammograms. If I hadn't have had mine, that cancer would have still been growing, and it could have been, you know, life-threatening. It could have been a killer. But
and
for
we
me,
lead such busy lives, and everyone just thinks, "Oh, I haven't got time for that appointment."
Yeah.
You know, does it really matter?
Yeah.
But you're proof that it does.
It absolutely matters. So, you know, whether it's breast cancer or whatever, if you've got any sort of symptoms of anything, just get it checked out, because all of these things, you know, there's so much medicine out there. It can all be fixed, and it's not an easy fix. This hasn't been an easy fix. You know, one chemo and it's not pleasant, poisoning your body. But I know that I'm okay, and I'm going to be okay. I've just, you know, I'll have a crappy Christmas, but 2024 will be a good year.
And it's only one Christmas.
It's only one Christmas, yeah.
Debbie, you yourself are a breast cancer survivor. You had a mastectomy, but you didn't have chemotherapy. What do you make of everything that Susie's done, you know, to raise awareness on this?
Well, to be honest, Susie and I have been friends for quite a few years, and you know, I've been obviously set up Boot Out Breast Cancer 13 years ago. But it's amazing, Susie just highlighting all the work that we're doing, and just obviously the more money that we're able to raise, the more that we're able to spend. So I'm so grateful.
It's such an important point, isn't it? You want to raise awareness, but you also want to raise money. You had that wonderful charity ball that you both featured in. Tell us about, you know, how important that is to to raise those funds?
Yeah, that's the thing. Obviously we're able to supply Chorley Hospital with the centre mag that they so wished. And now with the funds raised at the ball, we're going to buy an ultrasound machine for Bolton Hospital. And then because of the discussion and the last piece to camera by Susie, Blackpool Hospital have actually a sentinel no biopsy kit arrived yesterday, and that will go online this week. So it's just nice to know that we are making
absolutely brilliant work. And Susie, meanwhile, lots of people are getting in touch with you. How much does that mean to you?
It means the world, because I know that people are having mammograms because of the story that you've been doing. It's been brilliant. And I know it's helping, you know, I spoke earlier about a lady whose daughter had contacted me, and it's helping her daughter understand what she's going through. It is making a difference, and yeah, I'm grateful it's making a difference. It's a horrible story, but you know, we're making a difference. We'll boot out breast cancer.
Susie, Debbie, thank you so much. You are very impressive.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you are rocking that one. OK, let's take a look at what's coming up on the ITV Evening News now with Mary.
Coming up on the programme, bracing for Storm Ciarán. Flights and trains are cancelled as 100-mile-an-hour winds look set to batter parts of the UK. A red alert for the Channel Islands and multiple flood warnings for England and Wales as this latest storm gathers pace. Hundreds pour into Egypt as the Rafah crossing from Gaza finally opens. Foreign nationals and the badly injured are the first to pass through. And shame on you, Robert De Niro's court outburst as the legal battle between the actor and his former assistant heats up. Well, do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
OK, time for sport now, and what will be a very emotional evening for Evertonians. Hello, Mike.
Yeah, hi guys. It's been quite a week for the club, hasn't it? Tonight is Everton's first home game since the death of the club's chairman, Bill Kenwright. A chance for a packed Goodison Park to pay its respects to a man who spent more than 3 decades trying to bring success to the club he loved. Chris Hall is at Goodison for us. Chris, this will be a difficult night.
Yes, absolutely, Mike. At the weekend, there was a minute's applause for Bill Kenwright at the game at West Ham. But for this West End producer, this is the stage he adored the most. Mr. Everton, they call him here at Goodison Park, where tonight they will give a fitting curtain call to a man who spent 34 years at this club, 19 of which as chairman. The players will hope to play their part by beating Burnley to a place in the League Cup quarter-finals in honour of a man they say was more than a chairman, he was a friend to.
Throughout my career, he would always message me when I hit certain milestones, you know, when I got in the England team, in certain games which meant a lot to the football club. I'd always have a message from Bill, and it was always obviously a proud moment for myself to get a message from the chairman of well wishes, and I think that wasn't just me, it was the rest of the lads as well that he used to do that with, so we had a personal relationship with a lot of the lads.
Well, with me now is former Everton player Graham Stewart, who's also an ambassador at the club. Now, we've had so many great tributes from Everton players, past and present. It seems that Bill Kenwright really made a connection with all the players here.
He certainly did. He considered his players as his friends. The mere fact that you put pen to paper to sign for his football club meant you were a friend for life for Bill. And that's how I'll remember him, as a friendly guy who was your boss, but he was also your friend and always ready to be there to lend an ear.
Yeah, tell me your memories of him. Was he always a kindly boss? Could he be stern when he needed to as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody who's a chairman of a football club needs to get the balance right, don't they? They have to be stern at times and make unpopular decisions along the way, but in the main he was a really, really friendly guy, unwavered in his support for the football club as a whole. You know, we talk about his stage before. His stage was the Everton boardroom. And the boardroom will be full tonight, hopefully, I'm sure, with some friends and family of Bill's as well. And that's where he was really, that was his theatre then, match day, and he could go around and work the room. And my memories of him working the room, he was larger than life.
We can't escape the fact that the last couple of years as chairman were difficult for him. We saw the protests against his leadership, but one thing that never seems to come into question was his love for this club. And do you think that's going to be enough to unify the fans tonight?
Absolutely. I mean, look, our fans, everybody's entitled to their opinions, but our fans will recognise that this is not the time for that. This is the time to pay respects for his family and for the chairman himself and the work he's done for Everton Football Club over the years. And the chairman himself would be the first person to say the most important people at any football club are the supporters.
Graham, thanks so much for joining us. We are still waiting to hear of the details of when and where the funeral will be held for Bill Kenwright, but it's here at this cathedral of football where he'll be remembered tonight.
Okay, Chris at Goodison Park, thank you very much indeed. Well, Everton's opponents in the League Cup tonight are Burnley, who've won just 3 games all season, and 2 of those were in this competition. It's been a struggle so far this campaign for the Clarets, but their manager is confident things will come good with the right mindset.
When you have the attitude of wanting to win every game, like we did last season, like we continue into this season, what it does, it sets high standards for everyone. You don't go into a game saying, I want to win, with having a bit of a week where you just cruise through it. No, if you want to win every game, it's a mindset that you create by demanding the best of everyone every day.
Well, a number of our teams are in cup action tonight, including Jon Dahl Tomasson's Blackburn Rovers. The Championship side are hoping to pull off a shock away to Premier League Chelsea. Liverpool are at Bournemouth, and Manchester United, the cup holders of course, take on Newcastle at Old Trafford. Manchester City's Alex Greenwood will be assessed by the club's medical team after suffering a head injury on international duty for England. She received treatment on the pitch for around 10 minutes after a clash of heads during the Lionesses' Nations League match in Belgium. City say she is alert and well. England lost the game 3-2. Finally, a quick look at some more of last night's action, starting, if you hadn't guessed, at Barrow. They beat Morecambe 1-0 in League Two, with Dom Telford scoring the only goal of the game. Morecambe's 8-game unbeaten run coming to an end there. While in the EFL Trophy, Matty Lund scored a hat-trick as Salford City beat Manchester United's under-21 side by 4-3. And that is your sport tonight, guys.
Right, thank you. Now, last night we were hearing about how long walks and climbing mountains can lift our spirits, but there is another great way to do that, and that is by meeting Ned the Wonder Dog. He is an Australian Labradoodle approved by therapy dogs nationwide.
Yeah, Ned is now happily spreading his magic around the city of Chester when people need it most. One of those places is the Hospice of the Good Shepherd in Batford, where he's a big hit with both patients and staff. Jamal Williams-Thomas went to meet him.
Everywhere Ned goes, smiles appear. This hospice near Chester is just one place that benefits from a weekly visit from this therapy dog. One person with such a smile is Mark Wilson. He was diagnosed with blood cancer 3 years ago and goes to the Hospice of the Good Shepherd, where he now receives support in the Living Well Centre.
Ned's amazing. He's just that constant, and he always gives you a lovely wag of his tail and a cuddle, and he's just so nice to have, and just gives so much back to you as well.
And it's not just patients but also carers that get support from the hospice.
We come here and we meet people in very similar situations. Some people are in worse situation, and we just look forward, in a very strange way, we look forward to coming.
Whilst inpatient Dave misses his own dog, Ned provides that friendly paw.
You can see. Look, it's just a comfort. It's just, it's like having a real teddy bear with you. I've always had dogs myself, and I'm a big animal lover. And we are allowed dogs in here, and my dog has been to visit me, but she can't do what this beauty does.
The word hospice, people just think of beds and dying. Actually, you guys offer a lot more.
Yeah, quality of life is what we focus on. People can come in for end-of-life care, but that's not everybody who comes to the hospice. We want people to live well with their disease, and then people who do need further support from their disease, we're here to provide that.
Therapy dogs like Ned here offer much needed comfort, love and distraction to patients and carers alike here. Dogs like Ned really do make a difference. Isn't that right, Ned? Ned's visits are made possible by therapy dogs nationwide, who approved the Australian Labradoodle when owner Brenda took him for an assessment.
Therapy Dogs Nationwide is a registered charity, and the volunteers with their registered and assessed dogs visit all different types of establishment, hospices, hospitals, colleges, universities, prisons, mental health clinics, schools.
The Hospice of the Good Shepherd will cost over £5 million to run this year, but the joy that Ned provides to terminally ill patients and their carers is priceless. Jamal Williams-Thomas, ITV News, Chester.
Yeah, well done to Ned and everyone at the Hospice of the Good Shepherd in that report there. I love the way he looks like he's listening to everything that you say.
He's so calm and relaxing.
The complete opposite of Alfie, my God. I wouldn't want to take him.
I think you're going to say the complete opposite of you.
And that too.
Here's the weather with Kerry.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello, very good evening to you. Some pretty unsettled weather heading away for the second half of tonight into tomorrow. Despite that, we did see some breaks in the cloud today, despite those strong and gusty winds already out towards the coast and for the Isle of Man. But it's all change into tomorrow, all associated with Storm Ciarán. Although we won't see the worst of the conditions, we are expecting spells of heavy rain, coastal gales and some high rainfall totals possible in places, and a Met Office weather warning, a yellow one to be aware for parts of Merseyside, Cheshire and the Isle of Man as we head into tomorrow. So all associated with this system working its way in from the southwest, and as it pushes into the North Sea, it brings further pulses of rain, some strong northwesterly winds for us during the second half of tomorrow. But it will clear and become a little bit better as we head into Friday, and then further outbreaks of rain pushing in from the southwest as we head at least into the first half of the weekend. So it's almost the calm before the storm over the next few hours, dry, clear, chilly with light winds, but all change into the second half of the night. Periods of rain, heavy at times, accompanied by strengthening winds, strong and gusty, especially for the hills, for the coast and out towards the Isle of Man. So as we head into tomorrow, a soggy sunrise for many. 7:12 and 4:36 are your sun times, and it won't be rain at all times across all parts of the region, but there will be further spells of rain, heavy at times, as we head into tomorrow, and a rash of them coming in along that very strong northwesterly wind as we head into the second part of tomorrow and down the eastern slopes of the Welsh hills. We're expecting Merseyside and Cheshire to bear the brunt of that, but pushing away gradually as we head through Friday, so it will improve, becoming more showery, but waiting in the wings in the southwest. Further outbreaks of rain as we head towards the weekend. Do take care.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Tomorrow we're talking to the voice of Christmas, Noddy Holder. He's got a big story to tell.
Don't miss that at 6.
Bye-bye.
Not allowed to mention